Welcome back here to the lobby of the Festival Theatre in Stratford, and thank you for your very, very good questions during that pre-recorded section. Before we begin to talk about the Trojan women, per se, let's take a moment to just get to know both Seana and Yanna a little bit better. And let's start at the far end. So Seana, you've been at the festival, performing many important roles over a number of years. What was the first year? Tell us about your first year at the festival.
I first came here in 1982 as a member of John Hirsch's Shakespeare 3 company, which was like the conservatory. It was a training ground. Kristen Linkletter was head of voice then. And so we did Midsummer Night's Dream and All's Well at the Tom Patterson. But it was called the third stage then. So that was my first year, and on and off I've been back and forth. I think this is my 17th or 18th season. I'm not sure. But
you lose count.
You lose count after a while. So that was my first year here in '82.
Now, Yanna, you were a member of Young Companies. What was your first year here?
My first year here, I believe, was 1991. I was here as part of Marti Maraden's Young Company. What did we do? We did Two Gentlemen of Verona was our Young Company show that year. So I spent 2 years at that point in the Young Company, and then in the third season I was sort of part of the main company, and then I went away and did other things, and then this is my first year back. So this is my fourth season.
Well, welcome back. It's great to have you back.
Thanks.
So, Seana, we had a question from one of the viewers about any parts that you're especially proud of or found especially challenging that you've played over the years.
I loved playing Medea here and in Winnipeg, and I loved playing Blanche Dubois, Streetcar, Juliet here, St. Joan in Toronto, Lady Torrance here and in Toronto, in Orpheus Descending, Wit, Search for Intelligence. I've had a great time.
That's quite a spread. From
Masha,
virgins to saints to, you know,
it's a bit of a stretch. That's the way I like it. Yes, and I've enjoyed doing the new plays, the brand new plays I've done as well. Good Mother and things with Passmarie and Blythe. So it's been varied and good. And
a couple of parts that you'd always love to play?
I'd always love to do more Tennessee Williams, anywhere, anytime. I'd like to do Cleopatra again. I did it in Montreal, but I had walking pneumonia the entire time, so I don't remember much of it. And there's a few that I'd like to do that I'm not going to talk about right now.
All right.
That may be in the works. Okay. So.
Great. Yanna, how about you? Work that you're especially proud of or found very challenging over the years?
Well, I had an opportunity to do a South African, well, I guess she was American by that point, but she was originally South African, Pam Gein's Syringa Tree, which was a one-woman show with lots of different characters, young, old, male, female, black, white. That was especially challenging to do a one-person show of that breadth. I actually, one of the few women to have had the chance to play Petruchio in Taming of the Shrew, and that was a rush because you got to see what a man gets to embrace in Shakespeare that, with a few exceptions like Juliet, women very seldom get to experience. So that was quite exciting. And some contemporary stuff that I've got to do at the Tarragon and Factory and places in Toronto have been very enriching as well.
So the Trojan Women is the polar opposite from a contemporary play in the sense that it is extremely contemporary. It was written around 415 BC, and you know, Greek plays like this would be performed at a festival and would be performed once. They didn't have that kind of extended run. And some people conjecture that it was written in reaction to an incident that happened during the Peloponnesian War when the Greeks went to this island, killed all the men on the island. This island was neutral between, or it was trying to be neutral in this war, and paid the price for it. And the women were enslaved, they were raped, they were, along with the children, were deported and put into slavery. And so that would have had a very contemporary ring when it was performed for the Greeks. showing Greek heroes, mythological figures, people that would have been considered, the very center of Greek culture, acting in ways that were not heroic, were quite the opposite. So how did you begin this process with Marti? It began with a reading, but how do you begin to immerse yourself in that world with such heavy stakes, such large stakes?
Well, I remember at the first read-through, one of the things that was very evocative for me was John Pennoyer had just brought in some photographs and some artist photos of women victims of war. I forget the name of the photographer, I don't know if you remember. But he had several books and just pictures of women who were the leftovers, the victims and the leftovers of war. And that, those pictures kind of haunted me because, I mean, that's who these women are. Even Helen, I would argue. So it was just looking at some of those and getting a sense of, people who have nothing and whatever they do have is like in rags or just, on their back or in their hands, and that's it, that sort of devastation. It's just, that was just a very evocative image for me to start.
Seana, anything to add?
Well, you just have to read the newspaper, or you just have to, there are books out there, one in particular that I found horrific, Women of War, and it's throughout the world, in the Congo, in the Sudan, in former Yugoslavia, in South America, where women have been not only victims, but weapons of war, where they have been used to destroy a country, a race, a people, whether it's ethnic cleansing or whether it's erasure of a culture. And these women, their stories told in this book and their pictures, it's hard to imagine the kind of cruelties and imaginative vileness that human beings are capable of, the tortures that people can imagine, and these women had gone through it. And so to read their stories, you think this happened 2 years ago, or this happened last month, and it's happening right now somewhere in the world. This play is now. It was thousands of years ago, but it's now. So to know that you are doing a play, yes, it has no time barrier, but you also know that you are showing something that's important and that's vital, and not to whitewash it. And also, the characters, you have to, in the Greek play, you can't really do a reading of a play, because there's so much emotion and passion at the base of it that you have to be there from moment to moment. It's the only way. You can't shape it or model it or fashion it. You just have to be there. So there's a certain rawness to it, which is exciting. It's epic and domestic at the same time.